Thank you for joining us. And before we get started with today's video, if you guys like what you're seeing and hearing from the Locked On Senators podcast, go ahead and hit like, smash the subscribe button so you can be the first to know about Sens content. Now, we're going to be doing a ton of these prospect profiles, so if you agree this is someone the Sens should look at or steer clear, leave your comment below so we can hear from you. Now, we got 64 of these, so let's get into it.
All right, Pillsy, back to the countdown we go. And coming in at 28th overall, we are going to Sweden with a Swiss defenseman, Lian Bichsel, an enormous defenseman at that.
Ross, Lian Bichsel, I think, would be another one of those guys that would walk into the Sens room and they'd be giggling and pointing and like doing like these and all those kinds of things because he is an absolute unit. And unlike Maverick Lamoureux, Lamoureux, I think, is 6'7". Bichsel is 6'5", but Bichsel has 30 pounds on Lamoureux. And like, so a 6'7", 195-pound frame, that's what Maverick is. Compare that to a 6'5", 225, and you're like, that's like a teenager that hit a growth spurt versus a man. Like, Bichsel is filled out. He has strength. He has size. This is your ultimate big, burly, defensive defenseman.
Well, and not only that, but he skates as though he's 6'2". So that, and weighing a bit less than 225. Like,
yeah,
he's able to control the pace of play at his size. And that, to me, is an incredible accomplishment at his age. And with that extra size, and he's been a guy, top-end Swiss player, and he had his season end a little bit early in March. He suffered a concussion on a hit from behind. Greasy hit. Go watch the clip of that. Greasy hit. He would have been the captain for Team Switzerland at the World Under-18s. Instead, he can't even play in the tournament. Now, because of his size and his maturity, he was able to play more at the SHL level than in the J20 league, which is the opposite of every other. Well, all the others are Swedish defensemen, but players who are playing in Sweden during this draft process. We've been like, oh, they played 11 games in the SHL, had no points, but here they've got good numbers in the J20. That's why I put on the graphic that he had 7 points in 11 games playing in the J20 league. So offense is not an issue with, you see 6'5", you see 225, you're like, oh, he's just going to focus on the defense. He's not going to be a guy who jumps into the rush. And yeah, only 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points in 29 games. But Pillsy, a lot of forwards at the SHL level at 17 years old are putting up similar numbers to that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you really have to highlight what he was able to do at his age. Ross, according to Hockey Writers, only 12 players 18 or younger played 10 or more games in the SHL. He played 29. Like you said, if it wasn't for that concussion, he would have played even more. Like,
yes.
He was a 17-year-old in a pro league playing comfortably and playing big minutes. So for him to be able to do that really shows you how much he's trusted. And it only took him 11 games in the J20 league before they're like, yeah, you're probably better than this and we can bump you up to the top league here. So Bichsel, he really has a lot going for him. And he uses his size to be hard to play against. That's why he was able to transition to the pros so easily. He uses that 6'5" reach to get his stick into lanes and break up plays. And he's just a pain to play against if you're other guys, because he's going to use that 225 pounds he has to just be a force in front of the net, in the corner, in the neutral zone. When players are trying to get around you or through you, it's not going to happen with Bichsel.
Yeah, no doubt. And the rankings reflect that somewhat, but others aren't sold at all. And I love when the two athletic guys are completely on separate ends. Hell, you have to just reverse the numbers to get it here. Corey Pronman has him at 15th. Scott Wheeler has him at 51. And then everyone else is right in between. Elite Prospects having him at 26 tells you what you need to know about his skating, not being an issue for his size. Tony Ferrari has him at 29. Bob McKenzie at 35. Craig Button, the lowest on him, down at 62. The average is 36.33. And you might be like, wait, that's lower than Jack Hughes, who we did yesterday. Well, we got an updated ranking. Scott Wheeler's final rankings came out. And as we've said, as we count down, once you're profiled, your number's locked in. And now we're updating as we get the rest. So Scott Wheeler down at 51 on him really kind of pushed him down a little bit. But Pillsy, this guy, he's got upside. And I'll tell you a quote here in a minute from Corey Pronman, but what do you like most? If you had to single out one part of his game, what's your favorite?
The fact that he's a good skater for his size, like we mentioned, like a lot of the times, instantly when you see the size, you're like, well, how much is skating going to be a problem? Like,
Yeah.
how good is the size versus how much is the skating an issue? And that's what you have to weigh. But it seems like for Bichsel, that's not the issue. And to kind of transition for you to go into your Pronman quote, Ross,
Yeah.
he compared him to Keandre Miller, which
I know.
that's nice, Ross. You and I were banging on the table for the Sens to draft Miller in that draft, and look at him now. And not to be down on Lassie Thompson, we love Lassie.
No, that was JBD.
Oh, it was JBD? I thought that
That's
was
where they
Lassie
traded
Thompson.
back. They got
Okay.
JBD and Tyconic for Keandre Miller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At the time, it looked good, though. You got a second-round pick to move down 3 spots, and now you're like, oh.
And to get the two defensemen paired together. But yeah, Keandre Miller.
The start of the
that guy's a
friendship
beast.
tour.
Yes. Yeah, that was the start of it all. Yeah, he's an absolute beast, and he's NHL ready. And I think if Miller played on a more rebuilding team as he was drafted, he would easily be a top 4 defenseman. I think he's kind of lower in the ranks in New York, but I mean, you got Trouba, Fox. They got so many good guys there, so it makes sense.
Lindgren.
Yeah.
Stud. Yesterday's defenseman was compared to Lindgren, Ryan Chesley.
Yes.
If you had to pick between Chesley or Bichsel, who are you taking?
This is a great question, and great job, Ross. If the Senators are in a position where that's a problem they have, but deciding between these two, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Chesley though, just because just being that right hand shot, and I found that he had so many other good abilities, and he was more of a two-way guy than Bichsel is. But Bichsel has so much more room to grow. Like he's got a longer road that he can take, and he's already, I would say Bichsel may be more pro ready, but I think the upside for Chesley's higher, and the right shot really changes things for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Pronman spent a lot of time talking about the physical tools, of course, but he also says he's got offensive touch. He can create and carry through the neutral zone due to his feet and his skills, and he shows creativity in the offensive blue line. So that's kind of what you see with Keandre Miller, and that's why I like the comparison. They're both 6'5" and really have good puck control and strong feet. And sure, defensively, great reach, great gap. You can control the puck in the corner when you're that size. So I actually really like that player comparable, and I could see him being a top 4 defenseman in the National Hockey League. Now, on the other end of it, what Scott Wheeler was saying about it is that he defends the rush and the cycle well, and obviously in front of the net, and that'll be his calling card. But he said he saw a bunch of sloppiness develop when play caves in. When the other team starts really controlling the play, maybe his agility isn't as fast as he would like, and he kind of gets spun around a little bit. So he worries about that. He also says he's 225 now. Like, is he going to play in the NHL at 240? Like, how much is he going to have to watch out that he doesn't get on the wrong end of the tipping scale, where then his feet do start to become heavier and slow down? This guy is I want to say he's May 18th, 2004 birthday. He's 18 years old. Yeah. Just turned 18. So like, he's going to put on a bit of weight. You got to think he's not done growing. So what's he going to be? 6'6", 235?
But if he is, it's just about adjusting, because and I know the game's different now, but look at a guy like Dustin Byfuglien. Like, Byfuglien played at like 250 for stretches of time and dominated at that size. But he had to know, okay, I'm not going to beat anyone in skating races. My gap control has to be much better. I have to use my physical size as a force. I can't let speedy guys get around me. I got to check them right away, right when they're in my zone. And you just have to learn how to play like that. And I think Bichsel is a guy that he's already this size, so he's going to have more time to learn that, rather than guys that are kind of 6'2", whatever, and then they hit a growth spurt, and then they need to learn that as they should be getting ready for a pro league in North America. So I think that's where Bichsel has a bit of an advantage, is he's already figuring out how to do that.
And you can see a lot of defensively reliable numbers here, or defensive defenseman type numbers here. Not a whole lot on his elite prospect score sheet, except when he was back playing in Switzerland. But of course, now he spent the last year playing over in Sweden and making that transition pretty seamlessly. Like, he even got a few games at the top level in Switzerland as a 16-year-old, playing 4 games for Biel on that squad. So of course, lit it up in the junior ranks, and that's playing U20 Pilsy. So he's going up against 19-year-olds there as a 16-year-old, put up 28 points in 45 games. I love this player. How many stars do you have for him for the Senators potentially drafting him?
So I feel like he is a very safe pick. Like, it seems very likely that he's going to play in the NHL, Ross, and he's going to play in the NHL kind of soon, right? Like, I'm
Like
not
2-3
thinking.
years?
Yeah, I would say that's probably fair. Now, what's his ceiling though? I see him as a bottom 4 D man, and kind of the top of his ceiling for me is being the defensive guy on a second pair. You know what I mean? Like the number 4 defenseman in that role. If the Sens didn't have Tyler Kleven, I'd be all over this guy. Like, I would really be going for him. But I feel like they have Kleven, and Kleven's going to be ready about the same time I think Bichsel is. And I think Kleven has a bit more defined tools. Like, we're seeing, everybody says Kleven doesn't have offense. We saw him pick up the offense. And I think Kleven might be a little bit better offensively than Bichsel is. And
Bichsel kills guys too. Like, maybe not as often as Kleven, but like, he's mean and angry, and that's something that we didn't really highlight. But he's a good hitter too.
Definitely, and that's why I think they're both kind of in the same mold as a prospect. But since the Sens already have a guy like that, and I would take the upside on Kleven over Bichsel personally. That's why I'm a little less down on Bichsel, but I would also take Bichsel over Lamoureux. Definitely. But I see the potential here, and I like the pick, and there's nothing wrong with getting a big defenseman that can play big pro minutes. I give him 4 stars for Bichsel.
I got 4 stars as well for him
Yep.
as well. And it might be Bichsel. We're going to have to figure that one out along the way. People who are watching over in Leksands are probably just absolutely smashing the keyboard. They've turned us off by now.
Yeah.
But that to say, Bichsel, that to say, we've got a couple things from elite prospects to finish off with, but I've got him at 4 stars. Moves the puck well, so raw. He's often playing on instincts out there, which is good. Just give him a good coach, and you can really take him that next level. So that to me answers the question, what's his upside? Well, let's see what kind of coach can mold him in. Got a bit of a Bambi skating stride to him at times, but a long stride as well. Sometimes you see these big guys trying to play catch up and try to get choppy, but he's big, mean, and has a good stick. And that's what Cam Robertson says. So I'm with you, Pilsy. I give him 4 stars.